like 2 days.
No.
All the pretty girls are vegans. Not gonna lie.
2 days.
You gotta do what you gotta do. And I realized I needed. Wait, am I in trouble? I realized I needed to have the B12 supplements of injection or whatever. I quit just after I found that out.
You don't, but I guess maybe back then you did, but nowadays you don't. I can talk more about B12 and good nutrition on the podcast.
If you need time to research it or anything, go on, use ChatGPT. All fitness, all vegans are banned. Change my mind.
Weak and small.
My mind. There's always this one guy that always DMs me every time I ping in the server. It's like, chill with the ping, and the guy doesn't even use the server. I'm like, bro.
You don't need to get the notifications to complain about.
That's what I mean, Chris, about like not having an opinion. If I responded to that guy, he's then going to get active. There's going to be like freaking so many group chats where he's attached to 50 different people, another private server.
Oh, you never know. This guy just came out of nowhere. He abused me. He's the head of the server.
I know, right? He's so toxic. So toxic.
He's on a power trip.
He abuses
never
power.
Joined the server.
He's like, I hate it. It's the worst server, most toxic. I'm like, bro, you spam me every single time. Like, all right, let's
also just turn your notifications off.
Oh shit! I just realized I actually started the stream. All of that was a lie. There is no guy. I am a liar.
Elaborate ruse. Elaborate ruse.
Right, let's start stage. All vegans. I can't even spell vegans. Should be banned.
GUMB.
My mind. Welcome everybody to the greatest debate of all time. Hello. I am your host. Welcome Jinte, welcome Candy, Us. Oh, I can see a lot of cool people already joining. Thank you very much, everyone. We're going to be having an amazing debate. I have here with me Chris.
I feel like 26 minutes late is like a new record.
Sorry, was someone talking whilst I was mid through my well, technically it's not, right? So if we want to go into hyper specifics of how long and late the podcast has ever started. Ooh, Coach B. Chris, go ahead. Tell us the longest it's taken us to start a podcast. Go ahead.
We definitely started a good 45 minutes late before. I think you're trying to refer to an incident when the podcast already in progress. That wasn't actually, had started actually, so I think you're trying to refer to me joining late one time.
I think that's what you're trying to refer to. He's minimizing it. So the podcast, which was probably one of the best milestone podcasts of this community ever, was a podcast where we had the CEO of Boost Camp and also another one with Hampton. And Chris decided to be late because of trains. The trains were delayed. There was a troubles. There was an accident. Something miraculously happened.
This is interesting framing. This is the podcast I told you. Oh, Ayo. So I'm going to make this one podcast. He goes, it's fine, mate. And then 5 minutes before the podcast meant to start, whilst I'm trying to get across the UK on trains, I get, mate, can you join? Because the CEO of Boost Camp decided to join at last minute. As I'm trying to change between York and Leeds at that point. And I go, yeah, I'll join if I can, mate. And then I join on the podcast and sit on the train and harass everyone around me for the next 2 hours sitting on the train on full podcast mode. When I actually made the podcast, I did not miss it.
Okay, anyway, I didn't know what that gibberish was, but let's start the debate. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Really do appreciate you. I have here with me Chris. Chris is a certified personal trainer with over a decade. He has worth of experience. As you can see, he's very knowledgeable. He's a nice guy. Remember, it isn't strike force. It isn't strike first. It is strength first. Support Chris STR first on all platforms. And yeah, mate, he's a secret to my physique. I'm not going to lie. The shoulders are popping. I don't want to glaze myself. It's all STR first. Cool. We are going to have a debate about vegans. I'm honest. I don't like them. Just kidding. So should all vegans be banned? So if you're for veganism, feel free to go ahead. If you're against veganism, also feel free to go ahead. Who wants to start off? Chris, you seem very eager. Go on.
Just to frame this out, so we're keeping it positive. We're keeping it non-toxic. We're not insulting people as best we can.
Be as toxic as you want, guys. I'm the owner. As long as you don't break Discord TOS.
Dangerous. I mean, I think we should start in favor of, to be honest. I think we're saying all should be banned. if that's a statement, I think Noel should jump in to change everyone's mind. Actually, I think we should have why should they not be banned? If that's okay with you, Noel?
Okay. I wasn't thinking from a not banned
Just
standpoint,
not banned, but just why is veganism good? Why should I consider veganism?
Okay, you should consider veganism. Whoa, you guys all muted. Okay, I'm the only one talking. Wow. You guys should consider veganism because it's better ethically for animals, for them being enslaved and tortured and, bred to be slaughtered. Like, ethically, that's just not right. It's, it's also better for the environment to go vegan for global warming, CO2 and carbon, and also water, and also forest being cut down, which, yes, we'll talk more about that. And then also for human health, it's also known to prevent certain types or lower your chance of certain types of cancers, and also blood pressure and heart attacks and diabetes. Like, it's very healthy for humans as well on a vegan diet, lower cholesterol, all that stuff. And I can also talk more about nutrition. No, we're not missing B12. No, we're not missing protein. No, we're not missing omegas, the 3 things that everyone talks about. Yeah, and I think altogether it's a very healthy and sustainable lifestyle that should be more talked about, because it's kind of a ethical stance rather than a diet. It's not just, I don't eat meat or animal products. We also believe that animals were put on this earth with us, not for us. Like, we shouldn't take advantage of them or use them, because they're sentient beings with us, and we should all live like in a happy environment.
But what about my gains?
Oh, damn.
That's the main question. That's the main question. All
Okay,
good source, environment sounds good, but am I able to make any gains on a vegan diet? Am I going to not have access to whey protein? Am I going to have access to meat for an easy source of bioavailable amino acids? How am I going to make my diet work? Hitting enough protein without getting too high on carbs and fats, eating, porridge all day. How am I actually going to reach my protein goals without balancing my macros as well? Is it possible on a vegan diet? And is it worth the effort?
It's absolutely worth the effort, and it's absolutely possible too, because tofu has 8 grams of protein per 100 grams. Tempeh, I think it's 27. I need to Google this because honestly, I don't know the exact ratio to weight. But there are many different vegan protein sources that aren't just animal based. I'm just gonna name some off the top of my head: tofu, tempeh, seitan, soy milk, nuts, seeds, beans, legumes such as lentils. Vegan protein is actually some of the cheapest protein you can get as well, because beans and lentils and like all the and canned veggies, a bunch of dry, easy to access ingredients for everyone, no matter your location. You can get some really good full protein, like full amino acids. I don't like a complete amino profile with plant-based. And I also use a protein powder that's pea protein, but there's also soy protein and hemp protein and rice protein, and there is so many different types. It's not one size fits all. You can literally eat everything.
Apart from meat, right?
Sorry?
Apart from meat and animal products.
Apart from meat and animal products.
You know what? He's being toxic. Yeah. So I'm going to switch to the vegan side. So anyone who doesn't have gains from being vegans, or think that if you're a meat eater and you think that if you go vegan, you're going to lose your gains, you didn't have gains anyway.
Oh my God.
You did not have any gains anyway. You should have not got into fitness. You should have not got into bodybuilding. Your genetics was already cooked. Because as she rightfully said, there's nuts, there's all these things, there's tofu, and also there are vegan whey proteins and all these other stuff, vegan supplements that you can take. I mean, vegan. I'm the worst debate partner. Vegan supplements.
Protein isolate.
Yeah, as she rightfully said. So if you're struggling as a meat eater, thinking that if you switch over to be vegan, you might lose your gains, you're going to lose them anyway. Case point and close.
No, as long as you make sure to prioritize protein and get enough of it from plant-based sources, you'll survive. Trust me, you'll get enough protein.
Facts.
Yeah, I think you make a good point, but I will quickly add that nuts and seeds. It's like saying peanut butter is a great protein source.
Oh no.
Realistically, these are fat sources, aren't they? If I have 100 grams of peanut butter or like almonds, even almonds are great, very healthy. Lots of healthy oils in there, fats, monounsaturated and stuff. However, I can get 20 grams of protein, but it's going to be 600 calories. So if I use that as a primary source for my protein, it's going to be very imbalanced. If I get to say 2,000 calories, I'm going to have well over maybe 60 grams of protein, which isn't going to cut it really.
No. Yeah, the
So-
main protein sources for vegans are soy and wheat gluten isolate, which is what a lot of vegan meats are made out of. Those are very high protein, and I believe tempeh is one of the highest protein foods. It even has more protein than some lean meats, such as like beef, but I'm not sure the exact ratio at the moment. I can Google that.
And it's seitan, which is made from vital wheat gluten, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredibly high protein. But then I suppose we could say, is a vegan diet good for people with allergies and illnesses and things like that? If people have a gluten intolerance, for example, they're not going to be able to have any gluten products, not going to have anything that's a main source of protein for vegans. If they have a nut allergy, they've got very few sources for protein or fats for there. Is the vegan diet a nice idea, but is it actually practical for people to live on based on allergies, based on intolerances? Can you function without having to plan every minute of your day around fitting every single... Well, vegan diet sounds nice, but it sounds like you have to fit lots of pieces together for it to work. If it works very well as a whole, but do you have to plan out each meal, to plan out all your snacks? You have to do lots of excess shopping. Are you going to realistically be soaking beans overnight? Are you going to be soaking lentils? Are you going to be doing all this extra prep when you could just, grab some chicken from the supermarket, cook it in the oven and be done?
You have to defrost meat, and I personally get canned beans. Honestly, I've actually never had dry.
Yeah,
Which
smart.
It's much easier just throw it
Good
in
luck
the
around.
pot and eat it.
Mhm.
But obviously allergies and stuff would make it much harder. But I feel like you don't have to. You can still have to plan. You still have to plan on an omnivore diet where you get your vitamin C, where you get your fiber, where you get. Obviously, people don't prioritize that stuff enough. Vitamin D. Like you have to still focus on your nutrients. I feel like veganism probably a little bit more just to make sure you're getting the proper stuff, but it's not like I have to track every single day, like, oh, where am I going to get this from? Because you do naturally get it from plant-based sources. And what was I going to say? Damn. I had a really good point. Now I just completely forgot. Every plant food has all of the essential amino acids, and most people's diets are already 70 to 80% vegan or vegetarian. So making sure you get your protein isn't that hard because it's just swapping out your steak with whatever, you know what I mean? It's not like you have to change your whole meal plan. If your normal dinner is, let's say, the stereotypical chicken, broccoli, and rice, just switch out that chicken for some tofu, seitan, or tempeh, and then that's your complete protein. So it's not, allergies would obviously make everything more difficult because even an omnivore diet, allergies still make it difficult to get because you still can't have your nut milks or your peanut butter or anything like that if you have allergies or not. I personally like soy milk because it's creamier and tastes better, so that's not even a problem on a vegan diet. But obviously gluten and everything would make it more challenging, but it's still doable.
Nice. Noel, I've called in the Avengers to also come and defend you. You've been doing a really good job. Honestly, you've gained my respect. And quick question, how old are you again? You 16? 16, right? 16, 17? And I said, how
I'm
old
17,
are you?
yeah.
17.
17.
Chris, you are tryharding on a Discord debate as a coach. Someone who studied, has almost got to get a PhD against a 17-year-old. Chris, mate, you are the most. Anyway, so Coach B is going to be helping assist you, Noel. So Coach B is going to be defending. Crap, I've crashed. Can you guys still hear me? Coach B is going to be defending veganism. Go ahead, Coach B. The floor is yours. Chris, so toxic.
So unfortunately, I didn't do much research. I was expecting to move in on this date, so I don't got too much planned. but off the top of my head, I do think veganism on its own, just by
Sorry, one second, man. You're really quiet. We can't really hear you very well.
Mic or something.
Just before you drop us loads of knowledge and we have to ask you to repeat it all again.
Okay, there we go. Can you guys hear me?
Much better, thank you.
So my apologies. I would have had much more planned. I was going to move in on this date.
Wait,
But
I think
did not.
I think it was probably using your webcam camera. If you check your audio
I think so
settings,
too.
yeah.
I don't know how to do that on my laptop. But it's cool. I'm on my phone right now. Veganism, I think by itself, it is pretty healthy, but you do miss out on like a lot of protein, especially if you are like a larger person. You have to be taking a lot of nuts, a lot of other plant protein foods that you usually have to eat like a ton of just to get there. So in the long run, you are going to end up spending more money to maintain that vegan diet. But I do think with supplementation, however, I think the vegan diet is extremely solid. I would put it above like a mix of both or just a carnivore diet because typically when you are on a vegan diet, you're more healthier. There's a lot of health benefits. I don't know off the top of my head, but I do know there is some. And I think that will outweigh the benefits of both the carnivore diet and the omnivore diet, but only with the supplementation of the missing minerals that you miss out from the vegan diet.
May you please
Especially.
go deeper into what minerals or vitamins we are missing because veganism is one of the cheaper diets. Obviously, some plant-based or things that are promoted or marketed towards vegan are a lot more expensive. However, you can be vegan super cheap, as I mentioned before, beans and lentils, but then also a lot of fruits, potatoes, bananas. Those are some of the cheapest foods you can buy are vegan. Also, do you know how much a brick of tofu is? I'm sure you don't. It's $3 a block, $2 at Costco. It's a super cheap way to get 40 grams of protein for 400 calories. Soy milk is the same price as normal milk. Vegan cookie dough is the same price as normal cookie dough. So it's one of the cheapest ways. But could you please, yeah, rice and beans. Thank you, Chris. So what minerals or vitamins are you referring that we're missing? Because I don't take any supplementation besides creatine, which everyone else takes, unless you're talking about protein powder, which I'm sure everyone here also takes whey protein powder. I take pea protein powder, which is the same L-leucine. I think it's like 100 or 200 milligrams less L-leucine in pea than it is in whey, but it's also 120 calories for 27 grams of protein with 100% yellow pea protein isolate. So unless you're talking about protein powder, which is still cheaper than whey protein powder, or creatine, I'm not taking any supplements. So what vitamins were you referring to that vegans are missing? And I can explain how we get them.
Mic
Yeah, of course.
drop.
And don't forget, I'm on
Mic
your side
drop.
here.
Mic drop.
I think she forgot I'm on her side.
Sorry,
But the
just
first
sounded
main one.
some backhanded. It sounded a little backhanded where, oh yeah,
No,
vegans, always need supplementation. And I'm like, well, what are we missing?
And vegans, they're too touchy, ban them.
I'm gonna say iron's the first one. So plants contain non-heme iron, which it absorbs worse than iron in meat. The second one is going to be zinc. Even though it is present in plants, the phytates in the grains and legumes will reduce the absorption. And then iodine as well, which mainly just comes from seafood and dairy, while low iodine can affect the thyroid. And then the last one that I'll touch on will be calcium. It's obtainable from plants, but many vegans do not reach the recommended intake.
That's true. Calcium I do get from soy milk. I honestly assumed you're just going to talk about B12 and omegas, which omegas come from seeds, and B12 is from many sources, much fortified foods, cereals. Once again, soy milk. I'm obsessed with soy milk. It's my favorite. Also, nutritional yeast and seaweed all get B12. I already said omega 3s are mostly flax seeds, hemp seeds, and chia seeds. Calcium I get from soy milk. Iron, I feel like more vegans absorb a lot of iron due to high vitamin C, and that's how you need to absorb iron is with a citrus, with a oranges, lemons, all that. That's what causes your body to absorb the iron. So I feel like even though we don't eat as much in a lot of greens and veggies, you still absorb all of it, or not all of it, but you know what I mean, most of it compared to an omnivore diet. Iodine is also in seaweed. Thank you, Chris. But I feel like there isn't that much. I don't know what else you said. Honestly, I forget. I'm not. Iron. I get lots of iron. Mostly through through vegan meat, honestly, but I don't have an exact source. But I do get enough of it. I'm checking my chronometer thing right now, and I've gotten 106% of it this week. But I've not really like there isn't. Oh, vitamin B12 is also from energy drinks. I know most of us here take pre-workout or energy drinks, but I'm not saying that's the proper vitamin or source to get it, because obviously I mentioned a lot
That's
of other.
supplementation right there.
Yeah, that is. But it's 250% per can or scoop of pre-workout, and I get a lot of it. I'm not. What else did you say? Honestly, I'm going through the list of all vitamins and stuff, but I'm not really deficient in anything.
Very good. I said iron, zinc, iodine, and
Iron,
calcium as the main four.
yeah. Zinc, I also get that from soy milk and cocoa powder. Matcha,
Nuts as well, seeds.
yeah, seeds, once again, they're very good for you. Even though it is a fat source, not a protein source, they do have many nutritional benefits.
sure.
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
I do have one question for you.
Uh-oh.
How much research do you put into your time, into your diet to make sure you're actually hitting those requirements?
Like any normal gym rat, I just track all what I intake through a chronometer, and that kind of tells me if I am deficient or anything. So if I notice, oh, I haven't had a lot of vitamin C this week, then I'll make sure to just have an extra strawberry smoothie or like whatever. Like I don't put too much time into every single detail of my diet. I just make sure I'm not extremely lacking
Mm-hmm.
in anything. And a lot of vegans actually don't put the time or research into their diet. A lot of people don't like tracking their calories or protein or anything like that. However, I am super passionate and care about all this stuff. And I think it's good to know where your iron and calcium and fiber comes from. So I purposely put in the effort. But I don't think you necessarily have to, as long as you have a good idea of what nutrients your body naturally is lacking with the vegan diet, of what it's harder to get, just to make sure you put an effort to get it.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And that's like one of the things I was going to talk into is even though because like you're a gym rat, you put in that effort to understand like what you're putting into your body. I would say like the average vegan does not do that,
Yes,
which
but
is
I'm
why
also,
I get
I'm
supplements.
sure the average omnivore also
Interesting.
doesn't do that either.
Right. But when you're eating like an omnivore diet and things like that, you're going to accidentally get your minerals in.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of hard to miss it
Hmm.
versus the vegan one, you really need to put more of that research in to understand what you're putting into your body. So like
Yeah.
in terms of like for simplifying, I think the omnivore diet is better. But in terms of like long-term health, I'm still gonna lean for like the vegan, but with supplementation to be on top.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good call. I feel like everyone should track to know what deficiencies they are. It
Hmm.
be the healthiest for some people. However, I always lean for people to track and see what they're actually putting into their body to make sure they're not missing anything. Yeah, one thing that a lot of omnivores miss a lot, and actually it's been being pushed more recently, is fiber, because it does for colon cancer and like a bunch of different things help your body. I know a few people actually in the fitness chat the last few days have been talking about it. Star and some other people, because they aren't getting sufficient fiber intake, and they're like, wow, how do I get fiber, because it can only come from plants, and if you are a carnivore or eat a lot of meat for the protein, you're lacking some other nutrients.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Hmm. So I think there should be more of a push for that. So I think everyone, no matter what, is lacking somewhere. And I think it's just a good idea to keep an eye on that. But it doesn't matter if you're vegan or not, as long as you make sure that you're eating properly.
Yeah, I
Yeah, that's a
100%
good
agree.
point.
Very good.
I want to quickly jump in though.
Mhm.
Do you think that humans are adapted to be vegan? Over time, throughout history, we've obviously eaten meat to survive. We are, omnivores by nature, we've got the teeth for it. We are, pursuit predators. We hunt things as a group. Meat's obviously a big source of calories, so we survived over these, times as way back in
Sure.
history. Do you think the human body is actually adapted to just eat plants and things, or do you think there's actually something missing? Do you think our bodies can run just as well on purely plants, or do you think that there's something lacking that we actually need for it? And do you think, as an addition, okay, to add this on, do you believe in having vegan food things for like your dog? Would you, if you have a dog, would you treat your dog, give your dog a vegan diet?
I'll get
So
to
two
that
parts to
too. First of all, for humans, I believe currently we absolutely can. In the past, sure, it was good to eat meat to survive in order to, because you needed that. You'd go out deer hunting, and or whatever. There are the pigs, the fish, whatever. You'd have to survive. However, they didn't have grocery stores. We're at a point now in our lives, in as a community, as a planet, that we are able to we breed animals to slaughter them, and it takes 6 pounds of plants. And I think me and Dante recently did the research, 1,800 liters for 1 pound of beef. We'd put in 6 pounds of plant-based food that we could be eating, and all this water and its resources. So we get 1 pound of meat, where it's a bad investment. It's like putting $10,000 into a bank and getting 1,000 in return. Like it's not smart. So obviously at this point, I think in the past we definitely had to survive off meat, but now we don't have to. We just take. Did you know that 70 to 80% of soy goes to animal feed? Instead of feeding humans all that soy for soy flour, soy milk, tofu, soy sauce, all the things I've already previously mentioned, instead of all that going to humans and starving children, we feed that to animals to get way less meat. Like we don't have to use these animals anymore because we can get the nutrients from plants. As long as you focus on it, like our last conversation, you can get our bodies can use plants to survive. And this has been fact checked by some of the biggest associations that did research on veganism to make sure and verify it was healthy. I think it's the top 2 or 3 biggest organizations. So 100% the human body currently can live off an all plant-based diet. And I think the more people that become more people that become vegan, obviously our bodies will also change and evolve. You mentioned also teeth. I have a really good image to share. I don't know if I can share my screen. I do not have the privacy. Damn. Okay, I have a really good picture I want to send in the fitness chat to show the difference between human teeth and herbivore and omnivore and carnivore teeth. We do not have, like a lot of people say that we have these canine teeth. I'm just going to share it in the fitness chat real quick. I can at you guys if you want, but it's a really good comparison to a tiger versus a monkey versus a bear, but like it's or not a bear, whatever. It just really shows a comparison between canines versus what humans have, and we don't have canines. I'm sure we were meant to eat meat in the past, but it's not something we eat raw, or we can hunt without our tools, or like we don't have really big claws or huge jaws. We're not meant to eat. Oh, I didn't see I could send it in the podcast chat. Wait, I don't even have permission for the podcast chat. Sorry. It says I don't have permission to send messages in this channel. Anyways, so I just sent the image in fitness chat. But I feel like humans could eat meat in the past, but now in the future, like these days and the future, we don't have to. So I feel like we are quote unquote meant to be carnivores. Our body was made to be omnivores, but you don't have to be in it to survive. Anyways, oh yeah, thank you. I can now. Thank you, Chris, for reposting it. Damn, what toothpaste are you using? Anyways, sorry. I just read. Okay, so now about dogs. I don't believe dogs can be vegan. Humans can. They can survive healthily on a plant-based diet. There have been studies for this as well. However, I don't believe in it because veganism is an ethical stance, and dogs can't comprehend to not eat meat or not. They don't ethically know that it's like stance for. It's like us forcing it to them. You know what I mean? Like I feel like dogs can live healthy off a plant-based diet, 100%. There have been studies for this. However, I don't think they're meant to, and I don't think it's right for dogs to be vegan because it's an ethical and moral stance rather than just a diet. So dogs can't be vegan.
Shouldn't be.
Quickly, before we move on, one thing I'm going to say is she is cooking all of you guys. Chris is tryharding, is using freaking evolution and using, did human beings evolve to play video games and sit on the Death Star? Mate, we didn't evolve for shit. Everything that happens right now, we did not evolve for. This podcast, this Discord, you think our ancestors were going through life evolving to be on Discord? No, they didn't. So, I just want to say props to Noel. And I am trying Noel. I've spammed Dante. I've spammed the freaking advisor chats.
Thank you.
All the vegans. I'm going to put this out there. All you vegans out there, I'm going to ban every single one of you except Noel. So good job. Continue. I just wanted to say that.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know what else to say. Is that a donkey? Someone said. In the fitness chat, dude, these people are hilarious. I love this group. No, so I believe dogs can't be vegan, but I also feel like humans, now that we have the proper resources and we have compassion and like morals, and it's not a legality thing, I believe that animal abuse should be illegal, but it obviously is. Like if you kick a dog or punch a cat, that's not right, and everyone's against it. But if you say that cows shouldn't be have bolt guns put into their head, hung upside down, and their neck sliced to bleed out, that's not animal abuse for some reason. Like I feel like we now, as a species, we are the higher. Do you know like the pyramid, like whatever, we're the highest, we're the tip, we're the superior species already.
Apex.
We know this, but would you put yourself, like you wouldn't you wouldn't put yourself on the same level as a dog, right? We're technically better. But you still wouldn't eat a
better
dog.
dogs than people.
We still wouldn't eat a dog in our culture. I believe that we should have that same respect for every single species of animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, Coach B or Mimi, guys, got something to say?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna put on two little topics here. The first thing I'm gonna talk about is the slaughter. So, like a lot of the stuff that vegans talk about afterwards is it's just like the disgusting stuff. Now, the bolt gun, it immediately kills the animal. So the animal has zero pain, nothing.
No, it just stuns them. That's false. That stuns them.
They're dead immediately. The second that little thing is doop, dead, gone. There's nothing else with it. And the reason why I want to mention that is because the other thing I want to talk about was like with the carnivore diet, people who actually go out and hunt. When I've gone out and brought home either a large elk home as a trophy, that meat from that elk will fill my freezer to the point that I have to have 2 freezers full of like meat. The meat will last me a whole year. That's a year worth of like $100 tag. So I just paid for a year of meat and $100. So it completely saves me money in the long term. And the whole like animal abuse, I think if you ever shot a gun or even gone hunting, a well-placed bullet or a well-placed like the bolt gun, it completely like ends the animal with no pain. Ever. So
Well,
like the thing like slitting the throat.
Like, is
Sorry,
murder
what?
okay if they feel no pain?
Well, I mean,
Does
to
that-
put into like,
And then also I
Well-
found the actual bolt gun, and it is called a stun gun. It actually only stuns them, and I posted this in chat. It's a cattle gun, a stun bolt gun, a bolt gun, a stun gun, and a stunner. That's the common device name. It's still the same device. It only stuns them.
Knocks them unconscious. It knocks them fully unconscious, is it? And then when they are slaughtered, it's painless and ethical in that way. It's not a suffering, it's a death afterwards, right?
And then for pigs,
They're then processed.
they bring them on shuttles, and they have gases because they need to get this done the cheapest way possible. So they have gas coming in, they suffocate to death, and their squeals and all that for the next train of pigs behind them to hear them, to shuttle them in, to suffocate them. So no, it's not ethical. But for hunting wise, I have a tougher perspective with that, because I still feel bad and it doesn't need to happen. Does being cheaper justify it? Like, if something's just done cheaper, right? You do it yourself, it's cheap. Because I feel like this might be a very bad example. I don't know, it's a good example because, animals, they're enslaved, it's slavery. I feel like slaves in the past, unfortunately, it's not right. We all agree on that, but there was a huge debate on that with the Civil War. I'm sure that was so much cheaper than right, with the resources of getting the cotton and the grains and the rice. With slavery, that I'm sure that was cheaper. That doesn't make it right? I mean, you wouldn't agree that slavery is good. Just because it's cheaper doesn't mean it's an okay thing to do.
I don't think
100% agree with that.
I don't think equating growing and raising animals
No.
deliberately to be processed to be the same as slavery.
Chris, you defending slavery right now. That's what you're doing. You are literally defending. I can't.
I'm
Noel,
choosing my words very carefully.
I'm just
Slavery
trolling.
is
I'm
the
just
ownership
trolling.
of a person or property, especially in regard to their labor.
Yes. So how are animals raised to be eaten slaves?
Because they're your property. They're sentient beings who can feel things. And yes, they feel pain. Plants do not feel pain. Plants do not have a central nervous system.
Well, plants do have a stress system, which is why some grapes are actually make good wine, because the vines are actually stressed trying to find through the rocky gravel. So the plants are actually stressed, which makes them taste a certain way, or actually makes them more nutritious, actually. So some plants are actively
cool.
stressed and are harmed to grow them. So in this way, are the plants being abused? Are the plants being treated unethically in a similar way?
No, because it's kind of like saying like an iPhone feels pain because it feels, but it doesn't actually, because it feels like you swiping, like it has the sensors, but it doesn't actually physically feel. It doesn't have the central nervous system, so it does not have the receptors in order to actually feel pain. It doesn't have the receptors. It's like
So
the
is the
plant
issue-
cell, like the biology. Have you seen like the plant cells versus the animal cells? Like that's what differentiates them. And also, we can have a
They're
really
both living.
weird debate about this, about oysters, because apparently, I think I've read that oysters don't have a central nervous system and they're still considered plants. And I haven't done much research on that. So those are kind of like gray zones for me.
So
Like
is,
I don't
so is
know.
your issue avoiding hurting things that can feel pain, or avoid hurting living things?
Things that can feel pain
So
or
not
mental.
the sanctity of life, or things being like having an innate value of being alive, but only if they can feel pain. You should not damage them or hurt them.
Exactly. Because these animals don't know, like the pigs and the cows and the chicken, they're bred or raped too. The milk production, and someone wanted to talk about vegetarian in the podcast chat. Bunny did, and I'll discuss on that why vegetarian isn't as good. I think it's worse, obviously, than veganism, because for milk, I believe the milk industry is worse than the meat industry because it's kind of all the same thing. But I can talk more about that too. But living things that can actually feel, because it's not living, because obviously plants are living, like that wouldn't be a fair statement to say living things. But things that can feel pain or don't understand it either, because if you just breed a bunch of cows and pigs and stuff and just kill them for no reason, like, have you ever thought about why we chose these quote unquote livestock animals, why we chose these farm animals to be farm animals, right? They weren't born and be like, oh, they're farm animals. Like, why did we choose them? Well, it's because they want our our love and our affirmation. They want our like
So-
they're not aggressive. They don't try to hurt us. They're super easy to manipulate.
Is that
That's-
because they're bred into it? Are they naturally actually wild animals? I don't think I would approach a bull in the wild, like if it was a wild environment. I think they're chosen for a few reasons. I think because they are big. If you have grow one pig, you get a lot
Because
of
we
meat
made
from
them
it. Yes,
Because
but
we-
they're easy to farm in that way. They're obviously farmed into that way of being grown. So would it be better if these animals never got to this point? We had far few animals in the world. There were just a few wandering around there without any of us. So if anything, so I'm going to go a complete other route for this. Sometimes being a meat eater actually preserves some species. There are some rare species of pig, for example, that would have gone extinct or very, very close to being extinct. They would have gone had they not been preserved for their special meat for certain pork products. In that way, it's actually eating meat is preserving these species of animals. It's actually without this whole meat industry, they would have gone extinct a long time ago.
But this is actually another debate we had the other day. I think it was 2 nights ago in the fitness chat. We had the same chat, the same topic. Where is it better to be bred to be, tortured, kept in a cage and like taken advantage of, than to be slaughtered but still be alive, or just never exist in the first place? Like, is it better to live than to be miserable than to die, or is it better to just not exist and not have to go through that cycle repeatedly?
I can see what you mean. And do you think all meat is inherently, well, you seem very focused on that it's intentionally suffering and torturing and it's intentionally really causing pain and discomfort for the animals. Do you think there is a way to ethically have meat as a diet? Is there an ethical way to do it? How do you feel about free range farming? How do you feel about like free ranging, having good diets, having a good life, for example, being raised well, having no stress, eating good food, and then quickly stunned, so you're unconscious, no pain at all, then gone? A good life, a healthy life in many ways, but then being eaten and being valued and appreciated for what it is, a good quality Texas chicken raised really well, and then ethically killed, no pain to it, and then respected and eaten as a good meal by people. Is anywhere for this in your philosophy?
No. Obviously, sorry, that was very straightforward. I do not believe that there is an ethical way. I've actually had a few Muslims say like halal meat is superior because it's ethical, but there is no true ethical way or humane way to kill an animal. Like, they don't want to die naturally in their instincts, in their being. They don't want to be slaughtered. It's like saying having a pet. Like, let's say you have a pet dog and they live their whole life, they get their food that they like, they're free, they're whatever, they're your pet, and then you end up just humane, like, or right way, but they don't. It's still not right to take advantage or kill them for no reason. There is no justifiable reason to kill them.
It's not for no reason, though, is it? It's to provide meat for people
No
to eat.
justifiable reason. There's for human pleasure. It's not, you can't justify killing them for meat when obviously we've already went over that you can live off plants.
I think, yeah,
like, you can't justify eating
it does
meat.
down to the
Besides, it
philosophy.
tastes
And I think we talked about this very a lot, and you've made some really good points. I'm not trying to shut you down or anything because you've defended everything you said
love it.
really
Thank you.
intelligently. But maybe we can pivot back to more the fitness side of it, if possible. If you guys want any thoughts on the fitness element of it, I'm sure Coach Big B's got some ideas on fitness, or you do as well. So we could pivot to that.
Do you mind? Bunny wants to talk about vegetarian versus vegan. Do you mind if I just go over that real quick with the meat and dairy industry?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Before we
Yeah,
get back
yeah.
to fitness.
Go ahead.
Well, vegetarian, obviously you still eat animal products, such, dairy, such as milk and eggs, and I believe you can still do leather and silk and wool. I believe. Actually, I'm not 100% sure on that. I think you can, because it's just simply no meat, including seafood, but it's not completely no animal products. And I believe vegetarian is more than a diet than an ethical stance, because like I said, vegans, the ethics of that, animals were put with us, not for us. So, the dairy industry, in my opinion, is worse than the meat industry because they rape these cows, they extract the semen out of bowls and insert it into the women, into the female cows. And then they have the cows pregnant. They do insert hormones into them to produce more milk. They get obviously the cows give birth, then they tear away the calves from the mother just so they can steal all the mother's milk, and they repeat this cycle exactly 6 times until the mother doesn't produce as much milk, and then she goes to slaughter for more meat. It's not a good. It's just everything about it's awful and it's torture. I mean, there's nothing good about that process. So obviously, vegetarian isn't it's just simply a diet, and I don't believe there's anything beneficial with being vegetarian versus vegan. Like at that point, honestly, vegetarian's better than nothing. I mean, there's been a lot of controversy around flexitarian and all this too, but it's better than nothing, but there's no benefits to it because you're still supporting the exact same factories and the exact same industries. And eggs and how they produce them, the male chickens are sent off to slaughter on a conveyor belt since day one. Day one, they're born, they're slaughtered. And then the mother's hen and they're shoved in. Even cage-free eggs are still just in a larger cage. I mean, obviously. So that's not, there's just no true way to justify supporting anything in that industry because it's all the same company or all the same manufacturers at the end of the day. So that's my opinion on vegetarian. Flexitarian is someone who's like vegan, but they still eat cheese or they still eat bacon. Like they choose 1 or 2 rules to not follow. And then, but they can still eat something that's not. And I believe that's also bad because that's like, instead of asking someone to say like, instead of going through this awful cycle and, of torturement, I've already went over this, instead of saying like, hey, stop supporting this awful business and industry, it's almost, I'm trying to think of a politically correct way to say this without sounding like a complete douche. It's like saying, hey, can you please just don't be as racist? Like it's sort of like, oh, you're okay to be somewhat, but can you be just not as much? Like you don't say, hey, just sometimes don't be racist. Be like, hey, stop being racist. You know what I mean? Like it's you don't ask someone to be like halfway, don't be. You're like, hey, can you please stop it? And that's what vegan versus flexitarian is, in my opinion.
Cool. Thank you very much. That's been really good points. There is some people who have joined, and I don't want this to be a 1v everyone. She's gone full Satoru. No. You've done amazing. Never apologize. You've gone full Satoru Gojo. It's all the other vegans. Like these guys are in hiding. Like Dante, mate, dude, this was your time to shine.
Is Dante vegan?
I think so. I'm not too sure. Is he?
I'm surprised because every time everyone's a vegan, I'd like to tell you about it, like CrossFit.
No. Errors have changed. There are more like I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't want to speak on his behalf. I genuinely thought it was, which is why I've tagged it. So the good thing is that we have got a nutritionist on the panel. Toxic. Wow. Please don't troll. He's been on a troll streak recently.
Toxic. If I swear to God, if you go for raw carnivore, I'm leaving right now.
Bro literally tagged me and said booty. No context, no nothing, just straight up booty. I don't know what's going on, Toxic, but please, I am streaming and you are meant to be the savior. Like, you were the chosen one, Anakin. So please, right, go ahead.
So in the context of nutrition and to try and bring back things slightly more to the fitness side of things, the point could very well be made that both people, I'm not going to go talk about individuals, but the vegan lifestyle, or should I call it, or the vegan diet has risks, as was mentioned earlier, of having a lower intake of certain nutrients. Does that mean that every vegan is B12 deficient? No, but unless you do it properly, which again not everyone will do, there is a higher risk of lacking some nutrients. And the same thing can also be said for people who, well, especially people, the suckers who go carnivore, but as for people who are more meat based, they will also have a greater risk of being deficient in certain nutrients, especially fiber, which I'm really glad is getting more room in the spotlight. So, can you be vegan and still have an awesome healthy diet? Absolutely. Should more people be eating more plants? Absolutely. I don't think anyone's contesting that one. So there is I would say that. So there are, of course, as with everything, there are certain factors you need to keep in mind of. But I think if you're discussing for health reasons and health reasons only, then I would then we can of course go rounds and then try to include the climate and the capitalism and our position as a dominant species of the globe and how that affects everything around us, and that's quite a larger discussion. I feel like, and we can go there of course, but it won't be directly fitness related, I think. But I think that for most people, they will see more, especially in our Western people who live in the West with a high degree of more processed foods, will probably have more health benefits from eating more fruits and vegetables and fibrous vegetables and legumes than they will by adding more protein in their diet, because most people are probably getting enough protein, at least, yeah, certainly in terms of maintaining what mass they have. Some cases probably not to maximize anabolic gains from lifting, but when you look at like disease prevention, most people will probably get more benefit out of eating more fiber and fibrous vegetables than from adding more protein, no matter what type of protein source you get it from. But of course, if you are following a vegan diet and you don't care at all about protein, then you and you want to get fitter, then that's probably something you should keep in mind. Not sure if that's the best way to puncture this, but I mean,
Yeah.
you can't. I mean, the ethics of meat eating versus veganism is a huge topic that sort of infiltrates its way into everything else about our food system and the political system, and how we view the world and our place in it. It's probably going to take more space than we realistically have here tonight, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to solve it today, in all honesty.
No, I'm actually
We can solve
sold.
it. This isn't in a while.
I'm sold. I'm sold on because I did try it in uni, because I did I did it for, obviously,
Go to the shops.
I did it
But
for
and I'll
Mhm.
and no, wait, hold a second. And I'll just, and this is a pure anecdote, of course. So this isn't proof or anything. But I, as I mentioned earlier, I did actually once, as a part of my studies, I ate the low carb, high fat for a week, and then I ate raw vegan. So it's vegan, but it also was not allowed to actually cook any foods. And
Yeah,
both of them were really hard. And I wouldn't. And if you're going to do either, I think you need to make an informed decision about what you're going to do as to approach this in a healthy way, or the healthiest possible way.
yeah, I believe raw
Would I
vegans.
would I recommend it as a blank sort of statement? No. But would I say you should? I mean, especially in terms of fitness, there are a lot of people in our server and otherwise who have like this. No, I'm only going to eat rice and chicken or fish and broccoli because that's the way I'm showing my dedication to the gains. And I would say they would probably benefit more mentally from adding more vegetables than anyone else. And that applies to all of you as well. Eat more vegetables, you lazy bastards.
Yeah, I do agree. I'm personally being sold. I might try it just to see how I feel. I can't make any promises because I do not know how to commit to anything. But I don't know.
Feel free to ask any questions or DM me if you need any help.
I might not be trying anytime soon, but I might try eventually. I have noticed a nice cool trend of like wholesome vegans. I've seen it a lot more recently. I don't know who the guy was, but I forgot his name. There's some guy in the woods. He's just like he's cooking his foods in the woods. He's vegan. He's always on my timeline. I need to remember the name, but I don't know. It seems like there are more wholesome vegans. The reason why I didn't really fully get into it was because there was that guy. Does anybody know Vegan Gains? Have you ever heard of him? You know the
Oh,
vegan gains? Yeah. There was that YouTuber back in the day. It was like, yeah, look into him. I don't want to get banned on Twitch. I think he's probably banned on Twitch himself. Was just giving death threats to people who, if you weren't vegan or whatever. But I understand it as a normie. I get it because of the ethical aspect of it. I do think some of these slaughterhouses have gone too far, and I know there are all these laws and regulations about doing things ethically. These business and these corporations, they barely do retail ethically, right? Are they going to do something as like with animal life ethically? And one of the biggest questions there's always been going in the back of my head is like there's certain animals that we eat and certain animals that we don't eat, and the metrics of like don't make any sense. Like it's not about intelligence, it's not about this. You know, if you go to a country and you see them eating dogs, you're going to be like, wow, that's completely disgusting. But that's how vegans feel when they see you eat any animals. So I can always empathize with that aspect of it. Now, I'm not a scientist. I can't pull out any papers. These are all from my ass, basically. So I do think if I was a deity and I was judging people and how they treated the planet, I do think vegans their hearts are in the right place. Um, but I do think it's hard. I think they're fighting a losing battle because it makes sense on paper, and I don't trust. The thing is, I don't trust any GMOs. So my next question, and shout out to Miss Yap Queen, and Noel. Hopefully, you've had chance to. I don't want to also pile on you. Hopefully, you've had chance to research into this. Um, what are your stance on manufacturally made meats that they are introducing? Do you think they're safe? Do you think it's bad? Do you think it's the way forward? Feel free to speak freely. And if you are a vegan, you are also welcome to join. Summer Duh, are you a vegan? Please don't be a troll. And anybody else who's on the panel, if you do want to speak, Masaki, Mimi, if you're still here, I think Mimi's left.
Can I also ask a question?
Is it a fitness
Like,
question?
if I no, it's the vegan team, you know. I just wanted to chip in, you know.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Go ahead, yeah.
Hypothetically, let's say with my future car, I run over some kind of animal. Can I honor it by making it into a nice lunch? What? What?
So do you mean like
I-
something
I
that's happened
would-
to die? So it's like forages, I suppose. If you found it dead,
Yeah,
is it
or let's say
is it
it
okay
died
acceptable to
from-
eat it if it died natural causes, for example?
Yes, man.
I think that, I mean, I guess the argument could be made that if for some reason you like something died because of you, then how you go, let's for example, let's zoom a little bit out of killing something. Let's say, how do I put this?
Old age.
Yeah, for example, I mean, my brain kind of stopped. Must be all the red meat I'm eating. But I think that we are responsible for the things in our lives and the things around us. And if I, for example, if I were to be out driving in my car and hit something unintentional, or at least and it died, then me doing the most of it, should I say, or I would have less ethical considerations about cooking and eating something that I didn't intend to kill, and then of course to use as much of the carcass as possible, including the bones and the skin and the organs, and making leather out of it, or that kind of. I think that the ethics of once you've made a decision, you should do your best to 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 see the full scope of the consequences of that action. I think that makes sense in my book. What about you guys? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, Like, I can see that it's a good point to make the most of the animal's life, but it kind of feels like a lot of people would exploit it if, let's say, the only way to eat meat was to, like, it becomes naturals, in brackets, but I don't know, man. But I do gotta mention that Noel has made some great points, so gotta say that.
Thank you. For animals, I feel like that, like, if they just happen to die of old age or a sickness, that you're still able to eat them or whatever. I don't know if it's right to eat them, because let's say, like, something like an animal dies from old age, like your dog. Let's say you have a pet cat or pet dog, and they die of old age. Would you want to eat them? Like, would you? Like, it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't. It's not respectful. But also, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I guess if you want to waste them, I mean, they're already dead at that point. I personally would never do it. I mean, I want to eat a dead body ever. But, like, I mean, if you had to, then ethically, sure. But, like, I mean, like, if your pet dies, is it like, why would you want to do that in the first place? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's
What about
it's a weird argument.
I mean,
What about taxidermy?
I hate taxidermy.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
but like if your cat died, right, or your dog died, I mean,
Mhm.
of course, there's a difference between modern animals that have been bred for yield. Like you're going to and cats and dogs, unless you abuse the cat by overfeeding it. But let's say you have
I thought
a
you
pet,
Mhm. Yeah,
and
like
you have a pet, and you want to remember it or whatever, and then you take it to a taxidermist, and they treat the animal so that you have it like permanently mounted on your fireplace or whatever. I mean.
yeah, I think, man, this is like very tricky, right? Because, like,
Yeah, it is.
I have like clay they cremate them, but it's sad because, like, I had to bury my dog last year. And I think that certain memorial pieces is like cute. I thought at first you're talking about like taxidermy, like hunting deer for fun and then just putting their head on a wall is like an achievement. I'm not okay with that because that's like for sport, like for no real reason, justifiable reason. But I feel like the taxidermy of your own pet, like your own animals, I don't know. That's very tricky because, I mean, what's the difference, I guess, between cremating them and having their ashes or having like a memorial statue or a gravestone of them? Like, I feel like that's all kind of the same thing, right? That's like the same umbrella. So I think maybe that would be more ethically okay, but that's very tough because, I mean, that would just make me sad. But I know people get like paintings and stuff of their animals with their ashes put in the paint. Like, what's the real difference between that and the taxidermy of your actual animal's skin? But that's just very, that's tough. That's like a very tricky standpoint. Like, there's no true good or bad answer to that. That's just like very opinion based. But so is veganism. So, I mean, it all comes down to your morals and your ethics and what do you believe at your core.
Sure. I got off track. Sorry. The original question was regarding artificial meat,
Yes.
and
Right.
I just want to quickly comment on that before we go off the rails. I would say that I think that the entire thing about artificial meat is a way it's a way to make veganism or vegan products more. I would say that it I mean, when people will, at least I guess, people want to fit in essentially. And when you're as a vegan, if you go to a barbecue, for example, or a family gathering, and you will ideally you don't want to, I will guess, you would at some point want to blend into the group, and then having a vegan hot dog, for example, will make you not stand out as much, or a vegan burger or whatever. And then it can also make the idea of trying more, adding more vegan products to your diet be easier because it looks like food you're already familiar with.
Yeah, I think
So
it's a
in
tricky one,
that
isn't
regard,
it?
so in that regard, it makes
there are already a bunch of plant-based options for the vegan meats. You know, there's Beyond Burgers and sausages and hot. You can still definitely eat if everyone's eating a hot dog or having a grill out. I just bring over our vegan burgers or Impossible hot dogs and still have the exact same thing, just, you know, plant-based. I feel like lab-grown meats will definitely be better for pets and animals because, as we mentioned, feeding to our dogs and cats. That might be more sustainable because environmentally, and, you know, it's just taking the cells off a cow, which is still, you know, sad, but then it's regrowing it and reproducing it to become meat. It's a very strange thing because I couldn't see myself eating a dead body ever again. I just couldn't, I would just be so devastated to eat something that's like been just killed, like dead. But I guess if it's grown, it's also like artificial meat. It's so weird. But I think feeding it to pets because you're not actually torturing or hurting the animal that it was grown from, and environmentally it is better as well. For carbon and water and a bunch of, you know, other stuff. That's what veganism is for. So I feel like for pet, okay. For me personally, I'm not sure about lab-grown meat, but I feel like that is a great compromise for meat eaters and vegans alike to not have to, you know, have a torture, you know, slaughterhouses and how bad they treat the animals. If they don't have to go through that, and there's just like it's just a factory where you just grow off some cells, then maybe that could be an option for once it obviously has more research and everything. I think we're at the beginning stages of that, but as that technology evolves, that could definitely be better than having to, you know, breed and slaughter a bunch of animals. Yes, Chris.
I completely agree with you. I think that's right. I had just my brain was going as you're speaking and making all of us look very simple by comparison. You said about lab-grown meat to talk about being vegan and things like that. It got me thinking of if you have a plant-based, like a Beyond Meat burger, is that simply replicating what meat would be anyway? And is that like a nice idea to you, knowing that you're kind of imitating something that'd be an animal anyway? So that's one thing. And then thinking about how public perception of vegans, and obviously it's maybe expertise area for you, but for views on men being vegan, is meat seems to be branded as a very manly thing to do. Like all the manosphere stuff you see online is all having this beef or I'm eating all this beef, nothing but meat on this terrible wooden plate with eggs and things, and maybe an avocado on the side because that's apparently acceptable as a few things men can actually eat for some reason. I want us to talk briefly about how ideas about meat and veganism and I guess being manly or masculinity at some point. That'd be interesting to say. Do you think someone's, you know, the whole soy boy thing about being a vegetarian, if you do, is eating meat a manly thing to people, and is that a good healthy thing in general? Sorry, I've derailed you entirely, but that's just sprung into my brain. You don't have to answer it all by yourself, by the way, so open up to everyone. I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No, I love it. I love it. So I forget the first question that you asked. About is it wrong for vegans to imitate meat? But I believe that most vegans, including myself, have went vegan not because we didn't like meat or cheese or dairy, but because we don't like the industry of killing animals and breeding them and raping them and just the way they treat animals, and obviously environmentally. And for human health, we didn't stop eating meat because we didn't like meat. We just liked all these other reasons better. So it's completely okay to imitate meat, and also same with the lab-grown meat. I mean, if it's imitating it and not actually comes from an animal, then maybe, right? But I think most vegans, including myself, have went vegan not because we didn't like meat. Obviously, the taste, it's made for us to like it, right? It tastes good. But we still, I mean, we like the taste of meat, right? Chicken nuggets, bacon, cheeseburgers, whatever. It's just a way to not have to feed into that industry. And then you talked about manly rar hunting for caveman times. It's a manly thing, bow and arrows. I think it's more manly to have a voice for the animals that can't speak up for themselves, and instead of having them just go through this awful experience, like I think it's more manly to have a heart than to be like, oh, I love meat, kill rar. You know what I mean? And the whole soy boy thing came from originally people thought that soy, if you eat too much of it, has female hormones, estrogen, when in reality it has like silamone, I don't know how to pronounce it. However, it's not true. It's been repeatedly proven in various studies that it's phytoestrogen that soy contains, which is a plant-based that mimics human estrogen, but it's significantly weaker. I just Googled that. So soy does not actually have estrogen. It does not make you less manly in any way from consuming soy. However, real milk has estrogen because that comes from a cow's breast. I mean, you're drinking breast milk. A grown man, is it more manly for a grown man to drink breast milk? And yes, it does have estrogen in it. Real estrogen, not plant-based, weak estrogen, true estrogen. But people don't seem to talk about that because it's made for children. It's made for the cow's babies. So no, eating soy does not make you less manly. So that's my opinion on it. And sure, caveman times, guys like to go get things or hunt, or like there's things that I guess are perceived and marketed as manly, like like be the guy, pay for the first dinner, or like whatever. Like there's different like stereotypical boy things, or like boys go get the job and make the money and go out, and and girls are the stay-at-home wives and cooks and stuff. But it hasn't been that way for a long time. We're in 2026, like girls work, guys cook, like there isn't a one role for one thing. So that's my opinion.
Just
Perfect.
piggyback off of that.
Wait, before I forget. Sorry, Toxic. Solid good work. Sorry, guys. Quick ad break. I really got to do this. Thank you very much, everyone. Huge shout out to Boost Camp. If you do want to get your free workout routines, etc., make sure to check out Boost Camp. They are literally keeping the lights on. I'm not gonna lie. If we don't support Boost Camp, this is what happens. And also a huge shout out to Jovida. Jovida is also a nutrition app. So Boost Camp for workout routines, Jovida for I've got to get these things on a bot command. Jovida for nutrition and using it to find and track things, and etc. etc. And also I'm not doing a giveaway to the entire server, and I'm going to start doing this each week, and especially weeks that we have debates. I'll be doing a giveaway to the debate winner. And the master debater this week is not Chris, because he is a master debater. But the debate winner of this week is Noel. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate you. And right after this, I am also just going to do some quick fire questions because it is almost 11 p.m. For myself and Chris. And we love Discord, but hey. We got things to do, guys. Sorry. Over to you, Toxic. Go ahead.
So this ties into what you said about the historical part, and I think that this is the drawbacks of being an English as a second speaker. My mind isn't working perfectly. So I think as Chris said, the manosphere, or you could say that there is an issue nowadays with masculinity and young boys, men not knowing who they are or how they should be or how they want to be to have a successful life. And then you have all these buffed up, nonsensical podcast bros who says that, well, you need to be you need to conform to the classical perspective of what the masculine man is. And while it was true that before, when the world was different, the gender roles were different, and the purpose and the job of each of the genders were different, and that was easier in many ways because, well, if you knew what you were supposed to do, and all you had to do was basically do it, and if you didn't like it, well, then that was just tough because you didn't have a choice. It's like, you can see that in, for example, something like the marriage rate before. At least in the West, marriage being divorced was basically unheard of because it just wasn't done. So if you made a wrong choice and accidentally picked the wrong partner, maybe one who drank too much or beat you, you were not allowed to live, right? So a lot of women were trapped in these hopeless marriages where they got beaten and abused and they couldn't live. When now we are in a position in the world where, well, people can divorce, at least in many places, and so you see the marriage rates go down. And this, I think, is a generally good thing. And in the same way, the podcast bros telling young people that they need to be masculine, they need to be aggressive, they need to be a certain way, that may have worked for some people at some point in time, but of course the problem is that the world we're living in now does not operate in the same way, and so thus what masculine means, if it has one meaning, is different. But then again, I think it's easier to have it's easier to have something to form your identity around, even if that thing is wrong, objectively or subjectively, than to be like, I don't know, because humans as a general, we hate uncertainty. We are not equipped well to deal with it. So I think some people would prefer to be secure in their ignorance than insecure in knowing that there are too many options or too many alternatives. And yeah, sure, you could say that being the man meant you made the money, or you went out and you hunted and killed something because you were a physically larger, stronger, faster specimen, whereas women were smaller or not as, let's say, physically impressive in terms of the expressive force part. But then they could create life, they could make children, so naturally you ended up in a way where men went out and killed stuff, and then the women cooked it, and that worked for that particular part of life. But that world doesn't exist anymore for most of us, luckily. So to have that as sort of a goal, I think, is nonsensical. But that again is a huge discussion regarding where the world is, and capitalism, and gender wars, and it's going to take another couple of hours to go through all that as well. I don't know if we have the time for that, and it certainly isn't fitness related directly, I think.
Not directly, but it's not very directly. But we can also have the debate: is fitness inherently right wing? Which I think we should do at some point.
Oh crap! No,
we absolutely should.
No.
I think that's something we should definitely do. Because the answer is yes. The answer is yes.
No,
we should.
Mate, that is going to open all kind of worms, especially with all the stuff that's going on with freaking the wars.
You wanted clickbait. You wanted controversy. I give it to you on a platter.
Controversial as you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a worthwhile discussion to have.
I mean, we all know the answer, right? We know we can go down the we can try and triage the issue and go down the path, and we'll know what we'll come to. Like, okay, so who dominates fitness? Men. Why do men get into fitness? Originally, maybe to be strong, maybe to attractive. What's the motive behind it? Because they want to be dominant, blah, 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 blah. We can go down it and we know what we're going to get into. The problem with those type of debates, and that's one thing I've noticed. So, for example, with this debate that we've had, right? Everyone talking has very strong views. But when things get tensed, you can always be like, oh, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, blah, 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 blah. The thing with politics is it's hard to be like, oh, okay, I understand where you're coming from, blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, a war's going on or something like that. And then someone gets murdered in the street. That's why I don't want to get into it, because I used to partner with a politics server. Actually, it's discord.gg/politics, I think. And there were a bunch of there was a nice crossover with people who were in fitness, especially during lockdown, and the politics server. That led to one of the first biggest fallouts in the server. I'm not gonna say the dude's name, but yeah,
The mod on there.
yeah, that's why
You
I got
cannot
to be
pay me to
careful.
mod there.
I got to be careful with these type of debates because it can end up ruining friendships. That's what I mean. I mean, maybe right now, no, because I do think things have simmered down. Everyone has come more into the middle. I think I think a lot of people are like, okay, this current president or whatever he is an idiot. Majority of people, even where his previous supporters, are turning against him. But I do think that, and we can try it out. That I don't want to risk the stability of the community and the goodwills and friendships just to go viral on freaking, or just to get 10 likes on Twitch or get 10 likes on Instagram or whatever. It's never worth it, man. But yeah. If you guys have any other debate talking points, we can post that one on Reddit if you want to. Go ahead. I've fallen out with the Reddit because every time I post on the Reddit, they ratio me. Doesn't matter whatever. If they agree with it, they still ratio me. I think it's because I always use the mod stance, so I'm gonna have to create an alt account. But anyway, the next one I want to do is the peptides one because that one is trending, and I do want to make sure. I honestly don't know what peptides are. I have an idea, but I want to make sure that
I don't know either, so this will be really helpful to me.
I want to make sure that freaking we got 17-year-olds who are getting influenced. I hope it's not steroids and stuff like that. I don't want to get banned.
They're not vegan, so it's fine. They're not vegan. No.
I know.
Can someone explain
aren't they
quickly?
like banned from bodybuilding? Aren't they banned from bodybuilding?
Okay, it's Coach B.
So
Go
it
ahead.
depends. From Coach B, Cook.
Hello?
We
Yeah,
there?
you guys
Can we hear people?
Can you guys hear me?
Man. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So peptides are basically just short chains of amino acids. Okay, that's basically all they are. Now they're not very heavily researched in the moment, so they're still a very big gray area, I would say. In terms of actually using peptides, I think there is a lot of younger teenagers that kind of just grab peptides and just inject them without knowing what they're putting into their body. And at that point, I would just say, if you're just going to put peptides into your body, might as well put something into your body that actually knows what to do with it. I think the three main ones that are heavily researched, and I don't know if I can actually say it. So
I would be careful.
No? Okay.
Yeah, there is no.
So I won't say the name of it, but they are primarily for healing, and that's it. Yeah. Everything else within peptides, I would say, is a big fat gray area and should be absolutely avoided at all costs.
Yeah, it's difficult. Like Coach B said, essentially, technically, they are short chains of amino acids, but they're used for enhancement purposes, basically. And most of the time, they're available now only for research. So they're not been properly tested fully. They're not actually for human consumption, and that's why it's a great area. People can buy them, and it says very clear label, not for human consumption. So it's kind of when we had the big whole pro hormone thing before. This is kind of the new wave of it. It's not fully tested. Like we said, most of the ones that are used more often are for healing, very good for healing ligaments and things like that. It's a lot of people in professional sports are using them, but they're not widely available or not fully properly tested yet. Recently, America or USA at least have made lots of peptides more widely available. There's debate if it's a good idea or not because it's going to help some people, but also it's going to create some issues with the industry. Is it going to make cleaner products that would be good for people? Are they properly tested? Is it going to make you safe? Or is it going to make it more available to people and lower quality and higher prices? So a lot are used in bodybuilding. A lot of people on TikTok are using them to blow up, for example, lots of stuff they mimic steroids, basically a lot of them. People say they have no negative, no downsides, and that's simply not true. We don't know that yet. So I would say, just as a disclaimer, stay away from things. Don't be someone else's guinea pig. And almost like Coach BP said, if you're going to put something into your system, first of all, make sure you know someone who you're doing is doing it safe. It's from someone who you actually trust for advice from it, of experience, and stick to things that are known to work at this point. Don't be a guinea pig for someone else. Sorry, a bit of a soapbox there.
Hello, is Coach B talking? I can't hear anything. Is
Sorry?
Coach B
What?
Wait, were you talking?
Oh wait, what? Wait, okay, wait.
Yeah,
Wait, oh sorry, wait, what'd you say, Chris? My fault. I was petting my cat.
Yo, bro, just yapped and he didn't even hear a single word. No way.
No, I did.
No, he's lying. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I know, I heard it.
Okay, that's fine then.
No, it's so awkward
But
because
yeah,
I know
pretty
he didn't. But anyway, right. So let's do some spitfire questions. Everyone on the panel, you can all answer it. We'll go through you guys quickly, and we'll call that a day for the podcast. Honestly, this has been my most favorite. Noel, you're more than welcome to every single debate that we have. Even if you don't have a stance, you can always talk. So, first question, and we'll go from Coach B, Toxic, Chris, Noel, Candias, Musaki, because that's how you guys are rode up on my screen. And anyone who wants to watch the full VOD, remember twitch.tv/AOKing. I am almost at 280 followers, and we did have 10 people watching at some point on this podcast. So, hey, and 2 of them were probably my family members. So, hey, we're making progress. Should everyone go vegan, yes or no? Hi, Mom, I'm on TV. Look, I'm still alive.
I'm gonna go with vegan alone. No, vegan with supplementation. It can be worth it, but for the average person who doesn't research, do anything, I am gonna go with no.
Cool. Toxic.
Most people should absolutely eat more, making a conscious effort to eat more vegetables. But I do not think, based on my low esteem for most people, that they should go vegan.
Cool. Chris. Oh, crap.
No.
You're muted.
Thank you. So as I hedge my bets, I will say people should be plant-based, and then I think some animal products are okay, rather than being animal product based with a few vegetables stuck into it or plants stuck into it. I'm not convinced that for the average person who's not willing to be intelligent look into it, veganism is the best choice. No, it's not it. I think most people improve their health by being vegan, not being vegan.
So does that mean Noelle won? She won. Chris was pro-vegan. No, he was pro-meat, wasn't he? Now he's saying everyone should be vegan.
That was what I was told to be.
Well, yes, I obviously believe everyone should go vegan for various reasons. If anyone here has questions about going vegan or any more questions about what it does for the environment, feel free to @ me or DM me. I can answer anything. So if anyone has questions, then yeah, feel free to reach out. But yes, everyone should go vegan.
I just got to say one joke. Take no offense to it. That was the most Jehovah Witness type response ever. I swear to God. Does anybody have any questions? No, I'm just kidding. Please laugh. Don't get me cancelled. Okay, right. I'm the host. No stance. Is veganism a diet or a moral? Wait, actually, Musaki and Candy. Ooh, Chris, you didn't remind me. So useless. I swear to God. Candy, how was your surgery?
Well, I've reminded you of several things.
It's Candy talking. How was your surgery, mate? How you doing? Congratulations.
Thanks. It went well. I am recovering. The recovery sucks so bad, but it's getting better. Yeah, it just sucks because now I can't gym for 3 months, but
Oh crap.
Oh well, I'll get back into it. It's weird because now post surgery, I don't know if a bunch of people are telling me I look more buff. I'm like, I don't know why. Like a bunch of the nurses were saying, and I'm like, did my dad pay you guys to say that to me? And I'm like no. But, I don't know. And it was interesting because he said he pulled off like 1 pound and 9 ounces of skin off. And
Oh,
he didn't
wow.
have to do any like
Wow.
yeah, he didn't have to do any liposuction at all. He had the liposuction there, but he's like, I asked him, I was like, did you do any lipo? He said no, because when I went
Wow.
in, there was like no body fat, like barely any body fat at all. And I'm like, damn. And I'm like, so I didn't get charged for that either. So
Oh,
Impressive.
yeah,
nice.
he just cut off skin. But it just sucks because yeah, now I can't go to the gym, and now I'm gonna be fighting with pull-ups and bench press and everything all over again.
No
Um,
worries. I think there's what's it
but I
called?
also
Muscle memory or something like that. That could help.
yeah, muscle memory.
You'll be
But I
fine.
found
Just
out.
get recover properly. Just recover properly the first time, and you'll be fine, man.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna start with the bar on everything and work my way back
Mhm.
up.
Newbie gains. You'll
Yeah,
enjoy it. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
well, I'm sure I will. I found something else out. So I guess this surgery also he like when people get really fat, their abs, like separate or whatever, and it affects your core strength and it can affect your back. And so when he goes in there, he actually sewed my abs together, which is crazy. And that might be the reason. I don't know. Maybe it's not the reason, but it might be the reason why I'm able to like do heavier on bench press and heavier on deadlift, but squat I could not go past like 165 pounds or 175. I forget what my max was. I think it was 175. But bench I used to be able to bench 210, and deadlift I could bench like 280 something. But squats have just failed. And I know Paragon used to tell me it was because like my core strength probably needed work, and maybe it was related to that, those abs being separated. I don't know. I just know he sewed them back together. Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going well.
Happy
And
to
Glad
hear.
you're
also,
right, man.
yeah. Also, I think people should at least try being a vegan unless they have like allergies or stuff. Because I don't know. I kind of agree with Noel. I've seen some stuff like when I drive to work. There's these semi trucks that come with cages in the back, and there's these chickens that are just hanging out there, and you look at them, and they're all like sickly and they're like brittle, and I'm like, these chickens are probably gonna get turned in for meat, and maybe that's what they're selling in like the
Yeah, these
stores
innocent
for
creatures.
yeah. It's just my problem is would have to be getting started and trying it, and I like sweets too much, and sweets have dairy in it. Oh
Well,
God, it'd be hard.
dairy-free alternatives.
Mate, just eat a
Yeah,
mango. What do you mean? Mango, pineapple, satsuma, oranges. They all taste sweeter than any
Not-
sweets you'd ever eat. I think.
That's true, but it's not just fruit either. You can totally have. There's plenty of chocolate. Actually, there's a Toll House, like the normal chocolate brand that you get at your grocery store.
Mm.
They have an allergen-free version that doesn't include milk. That's vegan. Plus, there are plenty marketed towards vegan, but those are more expensive most of the time.
Mhm.
But you can totally find some accidentally vegan. Oreos are actually vegan. Sour Patch Kids are
Mhm.
vegan. There are plenty of sweet treats because I have the biggest sweet tooth ever. I'd say 4 out of my 5 meals a day are sweet. So if you have any questions about where to find more vegan things, also just feel free to reach out because there are so many different things you can find
Join us.
that, you know, even if it's just a little something like I mentioned, I don't like flexitarian, any of that earlier. But I mean, something's better than nothing, right? So just try your best, even if you're not full
There's-
for the lifestyle.
right. I'd have to try it. I wouldn't mind trying being a vegan, but if I don't see the gains, or if I just I don't know, if I get tired of it, I'm not gonna lie, I might go to being an omnivore. But I don't think it would hurt to try. It's just I've had like vegan donuts and they're like not the same as regular donuts.
Yeah, but taste doesn't justify murder, as you saw from the trucks.
Yeah. Well, You're right.
Sorry, I don't mean to get back into
Okay.
the whole debate thing again. You'll definitely gain muscle fast through the myonuclei and the or however you pronounce that word with your muscle memory. So I don't have any doubts that you'll recover very fast.
I hope so. I'm already weak, so I'm hoping my body will be like able to pick back up after 3 months.
You'll be fine, man. Just trust the process. Recover properly. You'll be absolutely fine. We got you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Nice.
Glad you're doing well.
Musaki, do you have anything you want to say? Are you good? Not heard much from you, mate. And anyone in the panel, if you have anything you want to say about veganism, pro, against, or want to ask a quick fitness question, here's your opportunity. We're about to close the curtains. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Do not DM me after blah, 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 blah.
Peas. Uh-huh. If no one else is going to talk, which I'll give them a chance to first, then I'd love to talk about water and veganism, because there is a huge controversy with AI in water.
Sure. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I would
And I
love to hear that, but I'm going to die in a minute, man. I would love to hear more of it, but it may be something without me involved. That's what I'm sorry.
He's
No
ready to go to
worries.
bed, bro.
Yeah, it's because
We
it's
got work to
11
do.
for you. No, I'll go ahead. Don't worry.
Sorry, I didn't realize it's 6 o'clock for me. No, I just wanted to say how the dairy and meat industry actually uses 2.3, the animal agriculture industry uses 2.3 trillion liters of water a day, where AI only uses 30 billion liters of water a day. So everyone is so anti-ChatGPT and anti-AI and generative art. I don't like it. But it if you actually care about the environment, then animal agriculture uses I think it's like, well, I just showed the numbers. I don't know the multiples of it, but it uses 2.3 trillion liters of water a day, like, which is insane. And me and Dante also talked about today, I think it was, that each pound of beef uses 1,800 liters of water. So that's pretty insane. And each ChatGPT prompt uses 1 liter of water. So every time you ask a question, it uses 1 liter. But every time you eat 1 pound of meat or buy 1 pound of meat to support that, that uses 1,800. So I just wanted to explain the gravity. A lot of people are very anti-AI right now, but they don't realize what their actions that they don't think about also contribute to.
Yeah, that's a really valid point because people always cook the industry that I'm in while supporting other things. Like, I've always had that stance that, if you are going to, and I hate the word as being wrongfully used, I don't want to say woke, but if you are going to be whatever the better alternative of woke is, go all the way. Like, if you hate AI and care about the environment and all these other stuff, care about animals too, care about plants. Although I'm not a vegan, I do think vegans have won this debate. I probably would ban all the vegans in this server, but Noel has been your savior. So, in the name of Noel, you can all live. But yeah, does anybody have any quick questions, any quick points that you want to make? If not, we can probably call this the end of the podcast. It's just been solid, probably been one of the best ones. A lot of engagements, and shout out to the Twitch chats. I'll read you guys' name. Because that's literally his name. It is this, and then a J at the end. Grown ass man here. I hope that's not one of Chris's alts. No, just kidding. Army Vet Gaming, shout out to you, mate. Shout out to, there was another one, but I gotta scroll all the way to the top. But yeah, did you ask some good questions? Sorry, I probably should be reading that much. And thanks to all the 10 people who viewed it. Shout out to Noel. Shout out to Candy Ass. Thanks for joining even after your surgery. Thanks, Toxic. I know I was spamming around. Really do appreciate you. And next time you send me booty randomly in the server, I might just ban you. Shout out to Coach Big B. Thank you very much. If you want to be a regular on the podcast, you're all welcome to, because we need it. As you can see, I'm a freaking buffoon. Right. Anyway, bye-bye. Thanks for joining Discord podcast on the weekend.
God, thank you so much for
on a
having
Saturday.
me. I really
We all are friends. What are you guys doing here? Like, seriously. I'm struggling to close this thing. Leave, please. What? I'm struggling to actually click on this button. I'm actually autistic. Am I still streaming? What the?